thank you so much for being here first and foremost. I know there's any room that you could have been in, but you're here, so I appreciate you all. Today we're going to be talking about underwriting all types of deals and just basically the basics for anyone who may be new or people who are experienced about what I look for when I'm underwriting different types of deals and how it can really help your business and elevate the things that you're doing to make sure you're getting great deals and not just good deals. And then right after me, we're going to have another really special guest come up and talk about how we can streamline the process for you. So everybody, thank you for being here. My name is Jael Thomas. I'm a real estate agent and an investor, better known as a unicorn. In real estate, underwriting is the process of analyzing a deal to see what its potential cash flow will be and making sure that you minimize risk and increase potential returns. Underwriters consider a variety of different things, but just to name a few, it's the type of property, location, condition, marketability, as well as the financing that you'll be using. For investors, underwriting is an essential part of the investment process. So I always make sure that I'm very careful and conservative with my numbers when underwriting any type of property. So the properties that I look at, there are 4 categories. Either it's going to be residential or commercial, and the financing is either going to be traditional or creative, because I am an agent, so I see a lot of traditional deals as well as creative. Across all underwriting, there are 6 key factors that I look at no matter what kind of deal it is. Number 1, the first thing is property type. So you have to consider the property type because it'll tell you what details you need to begin underwriting that particular property. One of the property types are condos. So as you all may know, condominiums always have some sort of association and condo fee. That's really, really important because they usually have restrictions and stipulations. All condos have different boards, so they're going to be different across all of them. So you want to make sure you have those documents. Don't tell me I turned the lights out in this joint. I wonder, maybe it's outside. But I'm gonna keep going because we have limited time, y'all. So the other property type are townhomes. Those are attached, and sometimes those have HOAs. So make sure if you're doing a deal on or off market, whoever you're purchasing from gives you the condominium documents or the HOA docs before you sign on the dotted line. Because sometimes you're not even able to do Airbnbs, midterm rentals, and that's something you really want to know before you get started. Single family homes, which we're all familiar with, you have the land and you're responsible for the maintenance, repairs, all on your own. And there are 2 types of multifamily properties that I look at. One is 4 units and below, which is basically a micro, and anything above 5 units is considered a commercial multifamily property. So the second thing that you want to look at is the property's location. Are you in a landlord-friendly state? What is the school system like? What's the population density there? Does it make sense to invest there if it's a limited number of people? Is it in a historic district? That's going to affect the type of renovations that you can do on the exterior of the property. Are you in a flood zone? That's significantly going to affect your insurance cost. So the third thing that I look at when underwriting deals is property condition. Consider the property's condition in terms of its need for repair as well as insurability. So make sure you get a title search as soon as you're under contract, y'all. It can save you time, energy, and money because you'll know if the deed is recorded properly and if there are any heirs to the estate that will affect you from purchasing it at all. The type of rehab that we look at is light, medium, heavy, and extra heavy. And the way that you can determine that is by seeing exactly what the property needs to be done for you to be move-in ready. In extra heavy lift, guys, we're going to be including some roof, maybe structure, mold, HVAC, major systems like electricity and plumbing. If you're a new investor, I advise you to probably start with a move-in ready property, a light or medium rehab, because the contractors and timelines, those things make a big difference, and you just don't know what you don't know without the experience. How many of you have estimated a rehab that went over budget by a show of hands? Absolutely. That's just something that's common, guys. So when I underwrite deals, I always put $10,000 more so that it's a cushion, because maybe I don't need the $10,000 and that's extra money in your pocket. But if something comes up, you don't want to have to borrow just $10,000 to finish your project and possibly pay extra interest on that money. So the fifth thing that I look at when analyzing or underwriting a deal is the financing. Consider the financing options available to you and the impact of the cost for the return on that money. Traditional bank loans, as we know right now, are super high. Those are conventional, VA, FHA, USDA, DSR. They are very expensive and they require a lot of qualifications. But with creative finance, you guys, we are changing the game because you can actually increase your purchasing power with less credentials. Absolutely amazing. How many of you enjoy waiting to hear back from the bank? And usually when you do hear back, it's about sending in more documents. If you're interested in exploring more creative financing and acquiring properties the creative way, make sure you contact me because I have plenty of deals available. The sixth thing that I look at when underwriting a property are exit strategies. Never one strategy. There have to be multiple for it to be a good deal. The deal has to work as a long-term rental be first and foremost. Because if the laws change, Airbnb disappears, midterm rental, you're left with a property that's going to be depleting your cash flow if it does not work as a long-term rental first. So for those of you who don't know, a short-term rental is anything that's 30 days or less. Mid-term rentals are 30 days or more. A couple of other different exit strategies that are niches are assisted living, sober living, and our newest one is pad split, where you can really increase your return on investment. In addition to these key points, you should also consider the following factors when underwriting real estate deals. Market conditions. Right now, we are in an all-time low inventory of 75% less inventory than we've seen across the nation. So that's going to already increase the the demand for a little bit of supply, which means prices are going up. That's something you need to know before you're purchasing, guys. Consider the tenant demand in that area. Is it a population where you can actually rent it out with really good quality tenants? Also consider the type of screening process that you're going to do for your renters. Background checks, outstanding loans, credit score, past rental history. Guess what? I have no desire to do any of that, so I always underwrite property management into my deals so that I don't have to take care of those minuscule things. Underwrite that 10% cost in there of the monthly income to make sure that your property is managed correctly and you have quality tenants in there, and when it's time to turn over, you already have someone in place. As you get more properties, trust me, they become harder to manage. Always consider risk when you're looking at properties with every investment, like vacancy, rent loss, late fees, property damage. You have to have an account for reserves, guys. Underwrite that into your deal. What if the water heater goes out? What if you got to fix the electrical box? You don't want to come out of pocket with those things. Here are some additional tips for underwriting real estate. Get professional advice from a real estate agent like myself, an appraiser or financial advisor before moving forward. Get quotes from multiple lenders to make sure you're getting a good deal on the money that you're borrowing. To compare financing options. Do your research beforehand and understand that market and its laws before getting involved in something that's out of state or even in your backyard. Laws change very often. By following these tips, you can increase your chances of making a successful real estate investment. My process and a quick overview, just to recap, is for all properties, I analyze the key factors of type, location, condition, value, financing, and exit strategies with an S. Always, I go get my title search as soon as I possibly can to make sure it's an insurable property. Then I make sure that there are no liens for unpaid services like contractors, solar panels, reverse mortgage, or second position loans. Then I make sure that the taxes are current. How much are the taxes increasing every year? You need to underwrite your projections in there, guys. With multifamily, a lot of people don't know, once you purchase that property, the taxes increase significantly with the transfer of ownership. The fifth thing I look at is the principal, interest rates, and the monthly payments. If you're using subject to, seller finance, or getting new financing from a bank, you need to have all of this information so that you can know how much is coming in and how much you have to put out. And always, always calculate worst and best case scenario. Be very conservative with your underwriting. I know this was a lot of information to take in, but I really hope it was helpful. If you received any value from this, I'm happy to be here. How many people are interested in underwriting deals? If not, call me. I love to connect with as many of you as possible, so make sure you reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook. Let's stay connected. I have a YouTube channel, Invest, Buy, and Sell with Jael, and that's @_JAEL.THOMAS. I look forward to hearing from a lot of you after this. Now that we've successfully completed the underwriting process, what's the next step for you all? I'd like to introduce you guys to someone that is very diligent, detail-oriented, and truly cares about the best interests of her clients. Take it from here, Esther.
Thank you, Jael. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Esther Bongo. I work closely with Eminent Estates, co-founded by the lovely Stacey and Jael Thomas. And the exciting part about what I do is that I handle all the behind-the-scenes work that has to happen and the part of real estate that nobody wants to do, which is transaction coordination. I got my certification from the top-tier TC course in Sub 2. Pace and his team created this course in order to set a standard across the industry and to ensure smooth and successful transactions. Most of you might understand these numbers better than I do, but all of the wholesalers that I've met, and really any wholesaler, understands that there's a fallout rate with contracts. You get a deal, you get a buyer, and just somewhere along the way, a baton gets dropped. And all of your excitement and all your hard work, marketing just goes out the window because it wasn't handled properly. Now, I want to share some numbers with you. What do you guys think the percent is of deals that actually go through the finish line?
25%.
25%?
80.
80%, wow. 60%.
60%.
It's actually roughly 50% of deals, about 50% of deals fall apart. Now, that could be for a number of reasons, due to locking it up too high, structuring issues, or even just the title. But I believe that at least a good chunk of those deals are actually closable deals. It was just not handled properly and poor management to the closing. If we want to see where a transaction could fall apart, take for example a very simple cash wholesale transaction. You have the relationship with the seller, with the buyer, with the title company, and all of their nuances, and everything has to come together and line up in order to make the deal go through. Now, when you add in extra complexities, such as a real estate agent or other partners, then that just adds an extra layer of complexity that could make the deal go sideways at any time. Now, what I do is important, and not only just because of the paperwork, and that's only about 20% of what I do, but the remaining 80% is relationship management. If you sign a contract with Miss Sally the seller, and you go on the hunt for your next deal, 3 to 4 weeks pass by before closing and you haven't talked to her, what do you think is going to happen? You lose the deal, yeah, you're in trouble, because most likely if she's on your list to call, she's on another wholesaler's list to call, and worst case scenario, she signs with somebody else because she thinks you forgot about her. I've only been in the real estate space for about a year, and what I've already learned is that most investors don't get into this for the paperwork. They get into it to talk to sellers, talk to buyers, lock up deals, and make money to live their dream life. So if you consider yourself a new wholesaler or investor, buyer, lender, most people's #1 worry is around the contracts. So the amazing thing about working with me as your TC is you don't have to worry about the contracts at all. Just send me over your terms that you've agreed with, and I'll call you up and make sure everything is captured correctly on the contracts. So real quick, I'll go over what I handle as a transaction coordinator. So #1, I receive your request either with or without the purchase contract. #2, I'll make all the introductions, set expectations, and get familiar with the type of transaction, and then we'll open escrow. Number 3, I will just keep you updated, regular status updates, and answer any questions quickly that you may have. And number 4, so nearing the close of escrow, as things pick up, you will get more regular communication, more status updates, and as things come up, because they always do, I will keep you informed. And number 5, for the closing of the file, we will review the documents together, and as soon as everything looks good, we will give the green light to the title company to schedule a closing. So a fun fact, or not so fun fact, if you don't have a TC, how many hours do you think it takes to get a file from start to finish? It takes about roughly 20 hours for a single creative transaction. 20 hours minimum. How many deals on average do you think you could do in that time?
A lot.
So even as an aspiring investor or a seasoned investor, that's dozens or hundreds of hours a month that are being stolen from you in your business. So here's an actual fun fact. Did you know the average assignment fee last year was $18,000? By a show of hands, who here would like a check for $18,000? Imagine how many $10,000, $15,000, $18,000 checks you could be getting by releasing yourself from these menial paperwork tasks, and you are on the phones, networking, finding more buyers and lenders. Transaction coordination is certainly a piece to the puzzle, but you should be hiring that out and spending your energy towards finding deals, finding buyers, and structuring these terms, because that's how you scale your real estate business. A good friend of mine once told me, somebody you don't know has everything that you need. When you partner up with a TC such as myself, I am making contacts with other people every single day, so chances are that I have the connection that you need and I can make that connection. So in closing, I know you've heard it before and I'll say it again, everybody has their own superpower, whether in life or in real estate, and my superpower is allowing you to live in yours by eliminating your distractions so you can regain your focus, minimize your paperwork, and maximize your outcome.
Woo!
And if you'd like my contact information, please see the gigantic billboard out there and let me know how I can help. Thank you.
Awesome.
Does anybody have any questions?
I have a quick one.
Yes.
How down are you guys?
I'm available, so I know I have my Calendly, or you can submit a file through my website, book a call. Yes, that's my company, Velocity TC.
There's a website on the Blink card as well.
Yeah, when you scan my code, you'll see all my information.
Excellent.
Yes.
So how do you get compensated? Is it per contract?
Yes, it's per transaction, and I'm doing a contingency fee, so no money up front, just after the deal closes, I will send you an invoice, or it'll be through the closing title company.
So you send an invoice after we discuss it?
Yes, yeah. Yes, yeah.
Surprise!
Yes, no. So in the expectations phase, once we do all of our introductions, I'll send out like a service agreement, kind of laying out everything and the projected, cost of the transaction. And then once everything closes, then that's when I would get paid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do TCs also self-perform on transactions?
It's possible. I haven't done it before, but I know TCs who have. I can definitely link you in with one who knows how to do it, or once I learn how to do it, definitely. Yeah.
I had a question.
Yes.
Well, she said, I have two questions now. She said self-perform, what does that mean?
Some title companies don't do certain types of transactions. So say if you were doing a sub-2 on a VA or FHA loan, any loan that's government backed, some title companies won't do it just because it's government backed, so it's kind of risky to them. So that's what self-perform means. You would file the paperwork.
And you had also said, do we want to make a fee? So do we just bring our deals to you and you take it from there, or we have to bring the deal plus the buyer and everything's kind of wrapped?
So if you sign a contract with a seller, or a seller who needs to sell, and you believe it's a deal, but you don't have a buyer, I mean, I can make that connection. That would be a separate like JV fee, in addition to like the transaction fee. Yeah. Any other questions?
Who here has a TC?
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody contact me anytime. My phone number, Instagram, email, website, all of that's on my contact card, and definitely want to help you guys out.
She's really responsive.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Thank you guys for being here.
All right, let's go to the panel. Jill speaking again.
I don't know if somebody else is next, so.
Awesome. That was great. That was free.
Thank you.